What is up, you guys? I want to do a smoky eye, kind of easy on the go kind of look. This is something that I use a lot when I go to concerts or when I just don't really know what to do with my eyeshadow and I just want it to be something very simple. So let's prep the skin. I have been using the Neutrogena Hydration Boost. There it is. As a primer, I was looking for this mirror. But let me just take everything that I've been kind of using. I do need to get an eyeliner because I have been using an eyeliner. So, yes. And a primer. But I'm going to show you guys how I do this look. I do it really quick. It's, you know, all these things are usually like when I'm on the run or in a rush. So yeah, let me just see if this is okay. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to prep my skin with foundation with moisturizer. Since it's winter, my skin has been just absorbing everything that I put on my face. It's not even fucking funny. But this really has made my foundation just last really a long time. So yeah, I think it's a really good base. I kind of let that kind of just sit. And primer for my eyes. So I don't like to use concealer, but whenever I do film, I do use a concealer because I'm just wiping it off and I don't want to like waste my like good primer. So this is the primer that I like to use and it just works really fantastic with me. But whenever I'm filming, I just, you know, I'll wear makeup for like 20 minutes or something and then I wipe it off. And so I'm using the e.l.f. 16 Hour Cameo Concealer Matte Finish. I just like to put very little of this, and I mean little, like so, and then I spread that out all over my lid, and I get a flat brush like this, and I just tap it. Now I get this, like, I get questions about this makeup that I do all the time, which is why I'm filming it. Because every time I do it, people think like I'm using like fucking like 50 shades or something. Like, no, I just use kind of like 3 shades, maybe 4 the most. But whenever I'm like going to a concert and, you know, I'm already wearing like a whole bunch of black and I don't really know what to like do with my eyeshadow, but I want to wear eyeshadow because usually like when I don't know what to do and I'm like in a rush, I just do a little wing and call it a fucking day. But sometimes when I have extra time, I, you know, put the eyeshadow. And I've been wearing this look lately, but I've been doing this look since like my early 20s, I want to say, just because it kind of gives me very like smoky eye, not 90s, early 2000s when everybody was wearing smoky eyes, and especially like the rock community. You know, everyone who was married to like a drummer or a singer or whatever, they were wearing like this super, really super just crazy smoky eye look, and I loved it. Like I loved, and I would always see the pictures and I'm like, how do they fucking do that? So I'm gonna just get a little bit of setting powder, very, very little. Don't ask me what I have mixed here because I don't even fucking know, okay? So I'm gonna get just a fluffy brush. I just cleaned them. And what I like to do is I like to tap, okay? And then I like to tap on here to just get the access. And then tap more. Because I just don't want this to be a thick layer. I just want it to be very like, just smooth and ready for, do you guys see Max in the background? My handsome boy. I just want it to be smooth and just ready for me to just put eyeshadows on it. And Yeah. You just want it to be all one color, one, you know, one shade, whatever. And once I use, there's an eyelash here. What the hell? What is an eyelash doing here? Okay, and lately I have not been using lashes. It's just, I use more lashes to film. I don't like lashes when I'm not filming because I feel like I don't need it. I get a lash lift to make my life easier and to just put mascara and call it a fucking day. So the eyeshadows that I like to use, but you can use whatever you want, you know, whatever you have. I have these shades in multiple different palettes. So this is just the one. I've had this for many years and I'm kind of just like trying to get rid of it, you know, kind of thing. So this is a Tarte one. It's been around forever. I've had this for such a long time. But when you want to do a smoky, like a really smoky eye that's like dark and heavy and everything, you want to start with the darkest shade in your palette, whatever palette you want to use. Or you can grab another palette and find the darkest palette, darkest shadow. I like to grab a fluffy type of brush like this. Not too fluffy, but somewhat fluffy. And I'm going to get on Smoke Show. It's the darkest shadow here. And it's like a brown, gray, black type of color. And I just tap all over. And the reason why I love this palette is this big ass fucking mirror. And it makes my life so much easier. So I then just start tapping all over my lid. And the reason why I like to tap for my preference is a smoky eye is not supposed to be like perfect. It's just supposed to look smoky. It's supposed to look very blended out. So when you tap, you're not getting like the perfect, how can I explain it? Like the perfect evened out shadow. And I think that's the key for me, for my look to just always look so good. And so I put this all over my lower lid. And I kind of start to work my way up to my mid section of my lid. And I kind of just do this, okay? And right now it looks kind of weird, but it's going to look better, okay? So now I'm going to keep tapping, getting the access, and doing the same exact thing on the other lid. And when you do this look, you can literally be wearing any outfit. Since you're wearing like such neutral colors, you can like literally wear whatever you want. And I think that's the cool thing of a smoky eye. Sorry, I'm like trying to get my feet warm because it's so cold in here. And my heater is on, but this room is just always either too hot or too cold. So I'm doing this. I used to do this a lot when I was in like beauty school and stuff like that. Oh my god, that's a whole different story, you guys. Like, I have so many stories to tell you guys, but I just haven't had time to film. So, just tapping motions. Make sure it's dark and kind of messy. And you really want to focus on near your, like where your lashes are. Just so like there's no gap in between like your lashes and the shadow, because then that's gonna look weird. But I just want to make this a little darker. You don't want to go all the way up. You just kind of want to go a little bit like it so it looks blended out. I think that's the key. The key of a smoky eye for me is just like it needs to look very like blended out, and it's not supposed to look perfect, you know, like it's supposed to look messy, like, you know, like you just went to a rock show and you came back from it. so this is what we're looking like, okay? And then the two shadows that I like to mix to go on my crease and all over my crease is my mid crease is Jet Setter and Smarty Pants. And one's a more like a nude color, and then this is more like a dark nude. This is more like a neutral nude. This is more like a dark. And for that shade, you want to get, so I don't put this in my dirty ones because we're going to use it again. You're then going to get a brush like so, a more fluffier brush, okay? Depending on the size of your eyelid. So mine are kind of like medium. I feel like mine are like more medium to small. So I don't like to put eyeshadow like all the way up here. I like to concentrate like right here. But it's just what I like. You do what you like. But I just go tapping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Tap, tap. And then here, we're going to be blending. Because you want there to not be, and you just want to go back and forth. You don't want there to be like a harsh line. You just want it to look like smoky. You know, like you've been wearing mascara for a fucking few days and it's just all over kind of type of thing, you know? So we're going to go back to tapping these two colors. And it doesn't matter how many taps you do of each color. It doesn't matter. It's just what you like. I kind of just, you know, do something like this. And now we're going to do the same thing. It doesn't matter which color you start with. It's just all preference, what you like. And we're going to be blending just back and forth in circular motions. And some of this color may go into the dark color that you just put on, and that's okay because that's what we're going to go back with the black. But I love doing this look. It like reminds me of like just the early 2000s and me growing up and like really being into makeup and just not knowing anything of makeup because I didn't really have anybody in my life at that time that was really into makeup other than my cousin. Okay. Yes, I like to. So this one, we will use it again. So we're going to put it back. So now you're going to go back to your first brush and you're going to go back to that dark color. And you're going to tap. And we're going to make this darker again. And just blend it out. And this is just a technique that I like to use. You do whatever you want to do. And that's the beauty of makeup, is you do what works for you, what works for your skin, what works for your liking. But I get questions about this look all the fucking time. And I'm like, you know what? It's just easier for me to like put it in a video. So you really want the black to be very, very just dark or gray, because I know a lot of people like to use gray. And that's completely fine. Now we're going to put that back in the dirty. Now the same brush, we're not going to get any color. We're just going to blend. Like I said, Smoky Eye doesn't like having harsh lines. We're just going to blend these two colors together. See the difference? Blended, not blended. And sorry, I just burped. But see, like, I think it's such a good color. Now, a lot of people did not do this in the early 2000s because everyone in the early 2000s were like painting right here. And I don't like that. Like, it's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. But what I like to do is I like to put my inner crease a little sparkle. So this is a really old Urban Decay brush. And I like to use this little tip. And you can grab any shimmer. But I like to grab Funny Girl. And I like to get Funny Girl and just tap. Get some of the excess out. And then I like to go right where teardrop, right where it starts. And I like to bring it all the way to like the eyebrows. Sorry, I keep burping without me knowing that I'm gonna burp. But I think it gives it like a very interesting look. Like you can't really tell, but sorry. Oh my God. I had like crab cake and it's like coming back up. I don't know why. I had it yesterday and it was good. So I like to just tap right here and then up. I'm sleepy. I've been honestly, Saturday was kind of wild for me. I think I was in my house maybe like an hour, 1 hour. I went to go get my nails done. I told my nail tech to do whatever the fuck she wanted to do. I didn't know. I wasn't really prepared. So, she kind of she was inspired by my hair. But I really like this like eye look. Okay, so now we're gonna do the face, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use this. I've been going back and forth between this and that Anastasia Beverly Hills Palm thing, whatever. But I like to just tap this all over. I'm putting a little extra because I'm using a beauty blender, and even if you wet a beauty blender, it's gonna absorb some of your foundation, which is kind of what I want because this sponge is wet. I bought this from a brand that doesn't even exist anymore. Should I tell you guys about that story of how like I don't even know how to explain that story, but I was kind of like the monkey in the middle of a situation between a ex-reality star and a beauty brand that wasn't like well known or anything. They weren't like popular or anything. Well, that brand is like closed now, so, but she used me as her little puppet to kind of like poke at the reality star, and she like told me some stuff, which I do believe some of this stuff is real, but like, I don't know. I was like, why was I put in the middle? Like, why didn't she like talk to her personally? Should I tell you guys that story? Because that story is kind of wild. Let me know, and like I will talk about it, but eventually. But look at that glow. Like, I'm very oily skin, but like I was using so many like matte finish stuff that like my skin was looking kind of flat. Like no, like I didn't like it how I was looking. Like, and my mom, who does not like fucking makeup, like pointed it out. She was like, girl, your makeup, there's something, what are you doing to your face? And I'm like, I haven't really changed anything, but I was using a whole bunch of like matte stuff, and it was like really affecting my look. Like, it was looking very fucking powdery, and I was like, oh, I'm not trying to look like a powdery bitch either. Like, I realized that this foundation oxidizes, and so when I run out of all of them, so I'm gonna start using it also to film. When I run out of all of them, I'm going to get a lighter shade just because, oh, this is the blush I like to use. It just blends out really nice, I think. And I'm not really like a blush person. I just like to put it to kind of just give me some type of like, you know, like plump in my face. But I'm not really a blush person. I've never been a blush person. And I'm not a concealer. I'm not a bronzer person either. Like, I feel like I'm more of like always like on the go and I need to rush out the door and I can't really do a full fucking face, you know? So for highlighter, I've really been enjoying the one I've found on Five Below. And I kind of just, I realized that for this, you have to kind of like tap and then blend very quickly because it does like dry up. But I do like the effect that it gives. Like it does give like, you know, shiny. I'm gonna get some of that product out because it's too much. I like to do the tip of my nose and then work that out pretty quickly. And then I like to do there. I do miss my piercing, I'm not gonna lie. Like I feel naked without it. I feel like I'm like, it's not my face that I'm looking at, which is so funny. Just because I've had that piercing for such a long time. Like my nose piercings and my Medusa piercing. So it just feels so fucking weird. But I also am not a fan of highlight, so I like a very light highlight. So this has been my favorite to kind of just... okay, so then I'm gonna get my powder. And what I like to do is get a little puff thing and tap, 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 tap. And for what I've noticed, less is more for me. So I just focus on here because that's where I tend to crease the most. And I just do very light, nothing crazy. I did mix a little bit of the CoverGirl onto this because it was too like light for me and I didn't like it. I usually always go with like a banana, like a brown type of color when it comes to like powders, but I don't know what was going on. So then I'm gonna go ahead and do this just to clean up. I feel like the blush kind of went a little bit down of my liking. I don't always do this, but I like to just do it whenever I feel like I need it. Now I'm gonna get a fluffy brush, and I'm gonna wipe this down, but I'm not gonna like put it up in there. I'm just gonna start blending it to my nose and just to my T section. I always get like extra oily right here. So, but I don't like to put a lot of powder right there. And then clean up here. And just, because before I used to powder my whole freaking face and it was just like wild. Like my face would just look so powdery and I didn't like it. And the fact that my mom noticed is a lot because my mom doesn't know anything about makeup. The person who taught me about makeup was what I saw on TV and stuff like that, like growing up. That's how I found out about makeup. But I like to just blend this out everywhere and just, you know, take your time blending it out. And you don't look as powdery. For me, I can't speak behalf of everybody, okay? Okay, so next I'm gonna shake up my setting powder. I found this at Five Below. It's LA Girl H2O Lock Hydration Setting Spray. You can use this as a setting spray or like a primer, but I'm trying to use everything that I have, and then once I'm kind of done with a lot of things that I have, I'm just gonna start buying like things that I really like. I'm gonna have a little bag for like my filming, like things that I like to film that are not too expensive, and then things that I like to use that are maybe more high end to go out and everything. Just because when I film, it's only, I wear makeup for very little time because every time I film, I like to change my makeup. That's just what I like to do. Okay. But when I go out, I'm wearing the foundation and powders and everything for much more longer time. And I want to find products that are maybe a little bit more expensive and more high quality. Obviously, I love high end and low end. I like whatever, you know. But I've really been enjoying this setting spray. I'm just not a fan of the smell of it. I don't know why. A good thing it like doesn't last, but the spray when you like the smell when you spray it, it's just like ugh. I'm not a fan of it. Just not. I also need to change everything that's in here into a different setting spray because that one is like too aggressive. So, and I kind of want to use it. So, we're still looking shiny and glowy even though we are powdered. Okay, now I want to put mascara. Now, since I like have my lashes lifted, I don't need to let me do eyeliner first. I sometimes like to do mascara first, but right now I feel like doing eyeliner. So I'm using the NYX Professional Makeup Trees Joel's Gel Pencil Eyeliner. It's a roll up one, so you have to sharpen it. And I like this. I kind of just go under here. I sometimes do this, I sometimes don't. Just depends, like I said, like what mood I'm in. And you just want it to just look kind of messy. You don't want it to look perfect. And back in the day, people used to do their inner line and their outer line. And to make it like more of a messy type of look. But I like to keep it kind of in the inner line because I kind of like that you can see my eyelashes. I feel like if I were to do my outer line, I would, like my lashes would disappear. But yeah, I don't like going like too aggressive. Okay, mascara. So, like I was saying, I do lash lifts and I really like them and I don't have to curl or do anything. I just need to put mascara. And honestly, any mascara works. It doesn't matter. I just like the look of it like being more darker and just, you know. Looks like I have mascara on. Whenever I like am lazy and I don't really want to do shit, like, but I want to look like put together, I just put mascara, a little bit of lip gloss with liner, and fix my eyebrows, and that's it. Sometimes I walk out the door very light makeup, nothing crazy. Just because you never know who you're going to run into, you know? You might run into your ex-husband. And you want to look good for that motherfucker, even though you don't want him back, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, this is what we're looking like. Okay, so now I want to fix my brows. This is from LA Girl, Arch Brown. It's an okay color. I like it, but I also don't like it just because I don't really need to do a lot of work on my brows. So I feel like whenever I get like really thin pencils, since I'm like not really like trying to make like little hairs or something, I'm just like shaping my brows. And yes, sometimes my brows look like I drew them with a Sharpie. I really don't care. I just like this look on me. It just looks good. Like, it is what it is, you know, like it is what it is. Lips. Now for lips, I like to use a really dark pencil, like really dark. Oh, this is new. I don't want to use a new one. That's also a new one. Where are my old ones? No, I don't want red. That's red. No, that's a pink color. Red. All these red keep showing up. I guess the universe wants me to do a red look. But I like to get like the darkest brown that I could find. Just because I feel like it gives me like a really nice look. Oh, there we go. This is from LA Girl. I guess you could say I like really like LA Girl. I just like cheap shit, you know? Professional Perfusion lip liner. This color is chocolate. And, ooh, I think she's a nude too, but she's not closed. The other ones were closed and I wasn't gonna fucking open them. So what I like to do, I know a lot of people like to just shape around their lips or their around whatever. I like doing that, but I also like to add a little bit of oof to it just because I feel like if I just have like a lot, you know, my eye attentions are, you know, my attention's going to my eyes, but I kind of want my attention to also go to my lips. You know, I have juicy lips for a reason, you know, why not steal the attention? So I like to do something that I saw from Kat Von D do it a long time ago. And ever since I saw her do it, I had to do it. So you're going to do your regular you know, lip liner. So I like to start in the center and work my way up. And kind of do this. Okay. And then the upper. Also, these are really soft. I like this. They are like butter. Okay. See? Simple. Everyone does this, okay? We've been doing this since the fucking... since I can remember, the 90s, okay? So, but I like to just add a little bit more definition. So I like to color in the inner corners of my lips. And Kat Von D did this with 2 colors, but I like to do it with one, like just with this. Oh my god, this is such a good lip liner. I need to buy more. I like to have like, if this is gonna be my new favorite color, I like to have it in like every dark color possible. So I like to just keep going. So it looks like this. It kind of looks like an ombre, halo, whatever. And then you are going to get your lip gloss. And you can use any lip gloss. I'm just going to use a clear one from, this is from the dollar store. Lip Glaive. From, I don't know, but I feel like it just gives like like it defines your lips, like it gives it more of like a, see, this is the gloss I'm using. It doesn't matter, any gloss is fine, but this is what I like to do when I'm like fast, glam, but I don't know what colors to use, and I kind of I want to look a little gothy. I want to look a little kind of like heavy metal. Like I've been wearing this makeup for a few fucking days, and I just rolled out of bed to go to another rock concert, you know, because I think that was the look that was very popular in the early 2000s in the rock world. Like everyone was wearing like messy hair and messy makeup, and nothing seemed to be perfect, and I love that type of makeup and hair. I love it. I sometimes don't like to be like picture perfect, but now you know how I do my smoky eye. And every time I do this look, everyone fucking asks me like, what shadows did I use? Da da da, blah blah blah. And here it is. I love this look. I think it's such a simple, but you know, you clearly put some work into it, and it can go for any occasion. Like if you're going to a game, if you're going to a glam thing or whatever, and whatever color you use, I feel like brown and black and just fits with everything, you know? So, you know, try to do this yourself with your own shades, you know? That's the beauty of makeup. You don't have to follow all these gurus and the products that they use. You just use what you have, and trust me, sometimes the drugstore makeup be looking like fucking glam as fuck. Like you went to fucking high-end place to get your shit, you know? So that's it. Peace out. Take care. See you guys in the next one. Bye.